Hello again guys, it's Carly from the Poetry of Nice, and today I'm going to share with you 30 brands that have sold for $30 or more on the Poshmark app. So this is going to be a roundup. I'm going to hop on over to the laptop shortly and I'm going to show you some actual listings that have sold within the last 6 months, so we're keeping it pretty current on the Poshmark app for me. And it's going to be 30 items and each one will have sold for $30 as the final price that the buyer paid plus shipping or more. So this isn't going to include fees, you know, Poshmark is going to take some fees, but I am going to let you know where I found my items, how much I paid for them, how much they sold for eventually. You can see the actual listings, and I'm going to let you know exactly how much profit I made after fees and cost of goods and all that kind of stuff per item. If you're new here, welcome. It is so nice to have you. This is a channel all about reselling online. So I am a stay-at-home parent. I do this part-time, selling on Etsy, eBay and Poshmark. And on this channel, you're going to go ahead and find haul videos, sales videos, because you know it's important to see what these things actually sell for online, and a bunch of how-tos and stuff in between. If that sounds interesting to you, I would love it if you would go ahead and hit subscribe and come hang out some more. Okay guys, without further ado, let's hop on over to the laptop and I'm going to show you these 30 items that sold for $30 or more on the Poshmark app. Alright you guys, so let's just crack on and let me show you these 30 items. So this is all on Poshmark. Like I said, I'm going to let you know what I paid. I'm going to let you know what it sold for and what my profit was at the end of the day. Okay, so this one here, Hobbs, this is not a brand that I was familiar with, but when I found it, it felt like quality. The fabric content was a good one, and just overall it was a really nice piece. Beautiful teal color. This is what the brand looked like. I went ahead and took a chance on it and I purchased it for $2 at a half price sale at a thrift store, and it sold for $40 on a best offer. And so after my cost of goods at the thrift store and the fees and stuff, the 20% fees on Poshmark, that was a profit of $30. All right, next item. Okay, so J. Crew collection. This is one that I've mentioned in other videos. This is the most expensive line of J. Crew. I'm going to go ahead and show you right here. This is what the tag looks like. It's all black, including the writing, and it has collection down here as well. This is just like their higher end, and it's usually a fantastic fabric content. This was a cashmere blend, I believe, and so it sold for $35. I paid $4 at a thrift store for it, and so my profit after cost of goods and Poshmark fees was $24. Next item, Haan, and then so that's a good brand in and of itself. And then this was a collaboration with Nike Air. I'm going to go ahead and show you on the bottom of these shoes here. Right here it says Nike Air. I did have an issue listing these on eBay. You're not allowed to put two brands at the same time, apparently. It wouldn't allow me to do it. And I noticed that the way that most listings were getting around that is they made Nike Air all one word. So just a little tip that I found along the way. And they had all leather soles, which is of course a good indicator of a quality shoe, as well as leather uppers. And overall, they were just a really nice style. So I actually purchased these for $7 at a thrift store, which was quite a lot. And they only sold for $35. I was hoping to get around $55 for them, and they just sat. They just didn't get enough. They had plenty of likes and stuff, but not enough people interested in purchasing, I suppose. So anyway, long story short, they sold for $35. I paid $7. My profit after cost of goods and Poshmark fees was $21. Oh, and I will also say there was occasion with some of these items I may have sent out an offer to likers. I don't always write that down necessarily, and that would be a $1.50 on my part that I would have paid towards shipping for the buyer as an incentive for them to purchase. So just bear in mind on a few occasions here with the items I'm showing you, I may have paid $1.50 towards shipping. Just for full disclosure, I don't want anyone coming back and saying that I didn't say that. So that may be the case with occasional items. All right, here we go. Eileen Fisher. So this was a 100% merino wool skirt. I have a really hard time at the moment moving Eileen Fisher. Perhaps I'm pricing too high. Most likely I am. But it used to be worth so much. I'm having a really hard time dropping my prices. What can I say? Anyway, someone purchased this for full price. I paid $1 at a rummage sale for it. They purchased it for $45, and so my profit was $35. Next brand is UGG. So I found these. I paid $40 at a rummage sale. Again, they took a little bit of time to sell, and eventually they sold for $30. So my profit was $20. but they did bring quite a lot of traffic to my closet, so I can't really complain. Okay, Miss Me jeans. A lot of people will say that Miss Me jeans just aren't worth anything anymore. I sort of beg to differ depending on how much you're paying for them. I buy them sort of from $5 and below pretty much, and I usually make a minimum of $30, even, as you can see here, with little to no embellishment on the back pockets. If you get the ones that are covered in rhinestones and stuff, and all the rhinestones are present, then you're definitely onto a good thing. But I still pick them up even if they're not heavily embellished. So I paid $1 for these at a yard sale, and they sold for $30, making my profit $23. Okay, Soma. So I only really do well with the sleepwear for some bizarre reason, not the loungewear. But I paid roughly 50 cents for this pajama set at a filler bag, and they sold for $35 within the day of listing them, so full price, and my profit was $27.50. Okay, this Carlisle jacket. So Carlisle is a little hit or miss for me, but this, I think the style really sold this one. This is an older tag. This could be considered almost like a vintage piece potentially because of the age of the tag. But it had this wonderful detail with like leather buckles, proper leather buckles, and it was this plaid tweed. So it had a lot of good things going for it. Anyway, I paid roughly $3 for this at a thrift store on half price, I believe. That's what I have written down. And honestly, I can barely remember buying it. Do you ever have those items where you just think, where did you come from? But I have it written down as $3 at a thrift store. So anyway, sold for $40 and my profit was $29. Next item, this is Moth by Anthropology. This item took a while to sell. Here is the tag so you can see it. Here's the RN number that most of us know by now, 66170. I'll be honest, Anthropology and Free People just do not move for me the way that they used to. Really depends on the piece and which Anthropology brand you find, but I'm always a big fan of Moth. I just happen to like their style in general. And I paid $1 for this at a rummage sale, so really that's a no-brainer, Anthropology for $1 in a good, more current style. It sold for $35, though it did take a little while, and so my profit was $27. All right, Soft Surroundings. This is another brand. I have always done so well with it and it's moved so quickly, and recently it's just slowed down a little bit for me. I'm honestly not too sure why, but anyway, I would still grab it at the right price, especially like the maxi dresses and things like that. They still do well for me. But I paid it $5 at a thrift store for this, and it sold for $30, making my profit $19. Henry and Belle. This, I was not familiar with this brand, but I liked the style of the jean. I liked the cut and like the rolled cuff. I also even liked the like the leather patch and stuff. It just kind of looked like quality. It turns out I think they're sold at Nordstrom, and they sold in 2 weeks of listing. So they sold for $35, and I paid $3 because they were half price at a thrift store, and so my profit was $25. So I would definitely pick those up again. Nice dark wash as well. Okay, these took a little while to sell just because their condition was not quite perfect. They did have some scuffs and whatnot around the shoe that I had to disclose, around the toe, sorry. But this is the little symbol that you're looking for with these. They're either Allegria or Allegria. It depends how you want to say it, I suppose. But they're essentially like comfort shoes. A lot of like nurses and people like that wear them who are on their feet a lot. And they're quite expensive to buy new. But I bought these for $1 at a yard sale. And they sold for $35 with a $27 profit. Patagonia. So this is one of those things that I mentioned I might be staying away from, the chinchilla. If you haven't seen the video yet, the videos where I talked about which brands I'm looking for in 2019, I do hit on Patagonia, and I do mention the chinchilla sort of line within Patagonia as well. So I'll link that down below in case you haven't seen that and you're wondering what kind of brands I am going to be looking for this coming year. I'll pop it down in the description. But this was chinchilla, so it was kind of like a fleece. It was hooded, full zip. It was a women's size extra small. So, definitely a smaller size there, a little harder to move sometimes. And I paid $5 at a yard sale. So it sold for $30, which made my profit $19. White House Black Market. Again, this is mentioned in the video that I will link down below about the brands I'm looking for. This is the newer tag, and that is one that I am sort of keeping my eyes peeled for. This was a nice style in a good size, a size 12. I paid $6 at the thrift store, and it sold for $40, which made my profit $26. Okay, Frye boots. So these were obviously tall. They were, I did manage to find with the style number and whatnot that they were the tall riding boots. Oh, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to go ahead and show you the little symbol here as well in case you haven't seen it. If you can see just down here, that's actually the older symbol. These were potentially vintage, just like an older style, but that little symbol is like right down there. Again, it's mentioned in the other video. That video has so much content in it, like to help you with labels and things like that. So if you're interested, do check it out, and you'll see this label on there as well, or you can Google it, of course. But that is what let me know that these were Frye boots. I paid $20 at a yard sale for them, and they sold for $135, which made my profit $88. It's a pretty good flip. Okay, Doc Martens is vintage. As you can see, they have a lot of love. They have seen some life, haven't they? But they were really cool, so I went ahead and listed them anyway because I got them for only $1 at a rummage sale, and they sold for $40, which made my profit $31. And of course, the buyers are paying shipping for all these items as well, so that's not coming out of my pocket unless I happen to have offered their $1.50 incentive. Okay, Boston Proper. So I really like this brand, and this is starting to be a little bit more hit or miss for me, but I still grab it, especially if the price is right. This item was $3.50, this dress, because it was half price. Sold for $50, which made my profit $36.50. Sundance, again, can be a little bit hit or miss, but when I find it, I always grab it because it's expensive and there is a following. Sometimes it just takes a little while to find the right buyer, is the way I would describe it. But this shirt, I paid $4 at a thrift store. It sold for $30, which was its full asking price. And so that is a... oh gosh, why did I get lost? Bear with me. Okay, that's a profit of $20. Try and do math. Oh my days. Okay, Lululemon. So I love selling the Lululemon pants specifically. These were the full length leggings, as you can see here, and they had a fantastic print to them, like a herringbone print. These sold within a day or two of listing. I paid $15 at a yard sale, which sounds like a lot, but they sold, like I said, within a couple of days for $65, which made my profit $37. Can't go wrong. And they sold for full price without an offer. Okay, this Madewell Tunic shift dress, I got this half price at a thrift store for $3.50. It sold for $45. And that made my profit $32.50. And I could find like the name of it and things like that, because sort of down here you'll find a tag inside. It will have a style number on it, and you can often find the full name and what it originally cost to purchase, like retail, just by Googling that style number. Okay, Bowden. This dress was also half price, so I paid $3.50 for this at the thrift store, and it sold for $35. I find with Bowden, the louder the print, the better. So my profit was $24.50. Just be careful when listing Bowden that you're making sure your size is right. There's usually a UK size and a US size listed, and if there is not a US size specifically listed, that often means that it's an older piece, and it often means that the size listed is purely a UK size. So you want to make sure with your measurements and listing with the size and stuff that you're aware of that, and you're being careful to make sure someone doesn't get something that's essentially 2 sizes too small for them. Okay, Athleta. I pick up Athleta pretty much whenever I find it. This particular bikini I got for 50 cents per piece, so $1 for the whole thing. Sold for $30. That's a profit of $23. Chacos, these were actually mine, so I have zero money in them other than I bought them originally and got tired of them, didn't like them, whatever, so decided to sell them. They sold for $50 within a day of listing, and so that made my profit $40. Considering it was basically a sunk cost and I had worn them for a while. Keens, I paid $4 at a thrift store for these. I pretty much always pick up Keens, like adult sizes whenever I find them, because I find that they sell quickly and for good money. So I paid $4. They sold for $40, and that's a profit of $28. Ted Baker London. Let me go ahead and show you this label just in case you have never seen it before. There we go. So this is a pretty, like, I kind of want to say high-end brand, but it's a more expensive brand, and it got a lot of love on Poshmark, a lot of interest, but it did take about a month or two to sell, I will say. But I paid $5 at a thrift store. It sold for $35 on a best offer, and that's a profit of $23. These coat shoes took only a week to sell. I paid $3.50 because they were half price at a thrift store. They did have some condition issues, as you can see on the front. There's a few little marks. They were suede, so there's not too much I could do about that really in the short term. But they still sold for $35. And so after cost of goods and fees, that's a profit of $24.50. Page jeans, these were a newer version of Page, so that is the newer label right there where it's kind of stitched on here at the top as well, and it's like the elongated text. The older one is a cursive style, so this is really the best one I've found to sell, but I would pick up either one if they were $1 or less. And these happen to be $3 because they were half price at the thrift store. So they sold for $35, which was their full asking price, and that's a profit of $25. Birkenstocks, I mentioned these a lot. I love finding these. These were new with tags, although they did have a couple of small flaws that I had to disclose. I actually paid, I'll just go ahead and show you the little flaws, just a few little scuffs, but obviously you have to point them out because they're new with tags with small flaws, you know what I'm saying. I paid $15 at a thrift store for these. I went home, listed them. Within 10 minutes, they had sold for $48 on a best offer, which is a profit of $23.40. This Lily Pulitzer, this took about 2 weeks to sell. Found this at a thrift store for $6, and it sold, as you can see here, for $60, which was a best offer, and that made my profit $42, so not too bad. And last but not least, the much talked about 7 for All Mankind dojo jeans, which is flared jeans, and you usually see this like 7 embroidery or whatnot, some form of 7 on the back pocket. I'm going to go ahead and show you as well what it looks like on the inside so you can see what I mean by dojo. It says right here. So yeah, I picked these up actually for $1 at a rummage sale, so I was extremely excited. They sold for $50, which is about average, I find personally, for dojos if I want to move them fairly quickly. And between $50 and $70 is usually where I list them depending on condition, and that made my profit $39. Oh, and take a breath. All right, you guys, I hope that those were interesting or useful. I always like seeing what kind of items sell for people above. For me personally, that $30 mark is where I like to try and aim a $30 average sales price. I am not there as an average sales price. I'm at about $19 to $20. But it's good to have goals. And so I figured I was going to go ahead and share with you guys just some of these brands that seem to reach that goal for me as of right now of $30 or more sales price. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you're having a lovely beginning of the year. Let me know how sales are going for you. Say hi in the comments, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye, guys.